she looked very neoclassical. She looked like the Venus de Milo. And I think that she absolutely fit the classical ideal that these sculptors had. They were French educated, many of them, in the Beaux-Arts style, and they were looking for a certain type of woman to represent the goddesses and allegorical figures that they were making. And she happened to fit that look. Wherever you go in New York, Audrey Munson's watching you, because she was the model of choice, the artist model of choice from 1910 to 1915, really, when a lot of New York was built. Outside the Plaza Hotel, she is standing on the Pulitzer fountain. That fountain was built with the money left in the will of Joseph Pulitzer. And that fountain, she's standing nude as Pomona, and she's sowing the land with grain. And you can see that in her sweeping movement. One of the big public works that was built during her time as a model was the Manhattan Bridge. And she was actually on both ends of the Manhattan Bridge by two different sculptors. And at the Brooklyn end, sadly they've now been removed to facilitate traffic, there were two colossal figures, one of Manhattan, or Miss Manhattan, and one of Brooklyn, Miss Brooklyn. And those two figures are still around. You can see them, they're outside the Brooklyn Museum, on either side of the main entrance to the Brooklyn Museum, by Daniel Chester French. That was one end. On the other end, the Manhattan end of the bridge, there were figures by Carl Haber, another sculptor, and they were the spirit of industry and the spirit of commerce. And Audrey was the model for the spirit of commerce, according to the press at the time. And you can still see her when you see the colonnade as you go onto the Manhattan Bridge. From the Manhattan end, on the left-hand side, the north side colonnade, she's standing there. Civic Fame is the statue that first got me interested in Audrey Munson. It dominates downtown New York, but most people don't see it because it's so high. It's 580 feet high, and it's a 25-foot gilded figure, and it's on top of the municipal building. And that building was once the largest office building in the world. And on top of that is this huge statue of Audrey that represented the city which had recently been consolidated. Brooklyn and Manhattan had been brought together. Isidor Straus was one of the co-founders of Macy's department store, and he and his wife were on the Titanic, as were a lot of the gilded elite of New York at the time, on the Titanic when it went down. And he was insisting that his wife go on the lifeboat, but that he wouldn't, in a gentlemanly way, go on a lifeboat and take a space that could be taken by a woman or a child. And his wife decided that she had lived her entire life with him and gone wherever he had gone, and she also refused to go and leave her husband, and so they both perished in the Titanic. So that memorial, which is at 106th Street and West End Avenue, a little park there, that's a very poignant memorial to that beautiful act of love of this couple who founded Macy's.